Everybody's very focused on a particular model, but really at its heart, the models are really what people are using are tied to the chatbots of what they're thinking about. So a chatbot is when you go to ChatGPT and it gives you that prompt to type things in. So ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Perplexity, all of those, when you're going via the web interface, you're using the chatbot. So this is reactive. So this is, you're going to ask it, it's going to give you an answer. You can think of it this way, as it's like an intern with a PhD. It has a lot of book knowledge, it just doesn't have the common sense. It's waiting for the instructions. It needs to be told what information to pull, for what purpose, and what avatar you're trying to talk to and pull this out. So it's great for research, drafting, brainstorming, one-off questions, proofreading, and type reviews. You're going to have to validate what's coming back out of it. So it can be used in a lot of good ways to help speed up your process. We were just hearing about how a government contracting company is using it to help go through bid evaluations on whether they should bid on a particular GSA contract or not. And the error rate on is about 25%. So it may be not answering all the questions, but it took 8 hours of analysis down to 10 minutes. So what you now need to do is put that human factor for another hour to get that benefit and say, we're going to spend an hour and 10 minutes on this review instead of 8 hours. And that will take that gap of, the 25% fake or hallucination they could be doing, or maybe kicking out things and make that more accurate. So next thing is Copilots. So this is a big thing that gets talked about today. Copilots are Microsoft Copilot. It is the best known one. That's why I call it the Copilot. Cursor, GitHub Copilot for coding. These are going to be your assistants are able to work and take a group of tasks and be able to do certain things with it. So they're using the LLMs that are also tied to those chatbots, but now you're deploying them to be like your sidekick, where you have it do what you want it to do. So accelerate workflows, create Word documents, Excel documents, create your Excel formulas. If you're creating code, VS Code. So you can have those copilots work and do things behind the scenes and do those type of assistant type things for you. Then you get into agents. And on our YouTube channel, we talk a lot about different agent projects and processes. This is where Make, Innate-In, and Zapier, as well as Lindy AI and Relay App and a number of other ones are in play. If you're really good with a product like a Claude or a ChatGPT, now with the fact that they do MCP natively inside of them and some of the automations, you can do a lot of this inside of them natively, but it's still not as robust and able to plug in as easily into the ecosystems like Make, Innate-In, and Zapier can. They have really big ecosystems. They make it easy to, if you don't know how to use an API, how to act like you know how to use an API, how to hook it to your O365 for an OAuth authentication, how you can hook it up. Again, I really suggest if you're in the enterprise environment, if you're a CEO, don't be using Make, don't be using Zapier. Get your IT department or get tech people who know, because you really want to make sure that you have those guardrails and that you are only sharing the data and authentication for where you need to. You want to give it least privileges. You don't want to have it be able to take in all of your HR data over to a platform that doesn't need to have the HR data. So that's really where you can use these and really get these benefits from them. If you're in O365, make sure that data loss prevention is turned on for everything going into it. What we want to do is treat the chatbot like an agent. We want to ask for to make a general analysis, but then we need to verify. Now, when you go into an agent mode, you need to make sure you've got those checks and balances, that this framework is not going into a validation. You want to send it to a human in the loop control output. So basically, and the way I do this, when we go into production, I don't make the output dependent on the human. I make it so that there is a human going and checking what is going there. If we're in a production mode, we're in a test mode, the human is proofing. So at that point is where you make that decision of whether the human is the one that is controlling the release of the content. This could be one of those things, if you put out the wrong information, You could have legal risk, you could have compliance risk, you could have reputation risk. What I want to do is make sure that we have the right controls. And there's a lot of cases where you don't want to use AI unless you need to use AI. So you're going to look at your processes and make sure that AI is the right piece to fix that solution. Sometimes we keep throwing AI, or companies are throwing AI, at problems that are more like decision trees or research aspects. So look at what your problems are as you start this, so that you're fixing the problem first, and then AI will amplify what is good in the process and also amplify what's bad in the process. So you want to make sure that you've understood how you're deploying